Welcome into special edition here at the Star in Frisco. The Dallas Cowboys with a long list of things to be happy about this holiday season. And you know where it starts? How about them getting their first win of the 2020 home win of the 2024 season? And now they look to build off of that momentum heading into a showdown Monday night against the Cincinnati Bengals. We'll be breaking that down and more here on the show. But first we have Isaiah Stanback, Barry Church, Nate Newton here on the show to break it all down and more like I mentioned. But let's get straight to it. There's a lot of pressure for both teams. You talk about the Cowboys who are 5-7 with a 4% chance currently heading into the playoffs. Well, with the chance to get in the playoffs. That with a win on Monday night, that goes up to 9%. Switching over to the Bengals, they currently have a 2% chance of making the playoffs. It goes up to 4% chance if they win. How much pressure? Who has more pressure? Barry, I'll start with you.
To me, it's the Dallas Cowboys. I believe the Dallas Cowboys still have more pressure than the Cincinnati Bengals to go out there and win this game. You just mentioned the numbers, the percentages out there. They have a better chance if they win this game. They still have all the goals that they set out in the preseason to attain if they win this game. With the Bengals, 4-8, you're in a tougher division with the AFC North. So I say the Cowboys have more pressure in this game to win.
You might as well get that 9% because that'll bust a pipe with the Cowboys. The pressure is always on those cats, man. Joe Burrow has took them to a Super Bowl. They expect great things in Cincinnati, but the Cowboys, the vision that you have and the people that's following them, that 9% can be almost overbearing.
Yeah, it can be heavy, like you said. However, the Dallas Cowboys definitely have more pressure on them, but I do believe that the Cincinnati Bengals feel like they have a greater chance. And that's simply just because of how they've been playing this year. The games they've lost hasn't been by much, and they've been lighting up the scoreboard, so they feel good about one portion of their team. Dallas Cowboys have been a little bit inconsistent.
The pressure just got a little bit heightened, though, with some big news coming up in Thursday's press conference with Mike McCarthy announcing that Zack Martin is now out for the full season. Let's take a listen to what he had to say.
Yes, we do. On another note, Zack is going to have season-ending surgery on his ankle. We started off a couple of weeks ago. We felt like the 2 weeks prior to Cincinnati, we felt that this was a good path for him to, try to get back was for the Cincinnati game. But, as he went through the protocol and the planning, Friday, things kind of didn't look as good as we'd hoped. And then Monday there was, some more studies, and then there was a conversation that went on yesterday, and everybody involved felt it was best for him to get the surgery.
And I'll start with you, Nate Newton. Now, with having a guy like Zack Martin, who is a future Hall of Famer in this league, having him gone now for the rest of the season, what kind of impact is that for this team?
I mean, he's a great technician. He's a great leader. He helped the young guys. I talked to him a couple of weeks ago on the field during one of the games, right before one of the games, man. And I asked him, I told him he was a great warrior, man. I knew then that his play wasn't what it used to be, but it was through injuries. And now, as Coach say right there, they couldn't even get him back for this short span through these last 2 games of him missing. So, Zack, my hat's off to you, my friend. Yeah, get that operation, get that rehab, and we'll see where it goes from there.
Yeah, absolutely. Respect what Zack's done his entire career. Respect to the fight that he's put forth this season. But it's an opportunity for young Hoffman and guys like that to step up and to try to fill in some big shoes.
Yeah, they do. The next man up mentality has been a huge theme of this team, specifically also for the tight end position. Jake Ferguson, though, expected to return Monday night. Barry, I'll start with you in this one. How big is it having a guy like Jake Ferguson back?
I think it's a huge added bonus to this offense. It gives you another guy that can stretch the field, can get up in those seams and kind of stretch defenses out. He has that ability. He hasn't really shown it so far this season and with the injuries and all, but, the guys like Spanford, guys like Schoonmaker, they were able to step up in his absence and really display a great ability to go out there and win the one-on-one matchup. They understand zone out there, and Cooper Rush has been able to feed them the football. So to me, Ferguson hasn't really been missed that much, but having him back has got to be an added bonus to this offense.
He hasn't had the production that he's had last season, 2023 Pro Bowl season, but you know who guys have had caliber seasons like a Pro Bowl? You have Kevontae Turpin, Brandon Aubrey, who lead in the polls right now. Does that shock you guys at all, Isaiah?
Not at all. This is the 1/3 of the game, offense, defense, special teams, that has been consistent and that you can rely upon all season long. Both of these guys are the best at what they do in the league.
Yeah, without a doubt. You got one of the best long-range field goal kickers in Aubrey, and we all saw how Turpin can flip the game like that. So to me, with his explosiveness, I'm not surprised at all with these two.
Well, these guys don't plan to slow down, right? I think there's a guy that also may not plan to slow down either. I think his name is maybe like Joe Burrow or something like that. I don't know. Joe Burrow's got ice in his veins. He's putting up some big numbers in 2024, but how do you slow him down? That's up next here on Special Edition.
Special Edition, presented by AT&T, is brought to you by your North Texas Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas. Reliant, official energy provider of the Dallas Cowboys. Blockchain.com. Invest like your icons with Blockchain.com. And by AT&T, official sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys. This segment is brought to you by your North Texas Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas.
Joe Burrow has a lot of nicknames. He has Ice Burrow, Joe Burrow, of course. And you also have Joe Shiesty, as I like to call him. But he's certainly living up to all of those nicknames. He's first in passing yards, yards per game, passing touchdowns, third in QBR, fourth in passer rating. I've got to ask the question, how do you slow down a guy like Joe Burrow?
Man, to be honest with you, I'm not so sure how you slow this guy down. I mean, Joe Burrow, to me, is one of the top 3 quarterbacks in the National Football League when you look at it. All those numbers that you just said, he's the top of the category. That's without an offensive line. I mean, this guy is able to do magical things out there. He can get the ball to Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. He's Brock Gesicki back from the grave when you talk about tight ends. This guy makes everyone around him that much better. But the key to slowing this guy down, because I'm not so sure you can completely stop this guy, but the key to slowing this guy down is you gotta get pressure on him, preferably with pressure with just 4 guys up there. Hopefully, if Micah Parsons and the crew on this defensive line can just rush forward and make things hard for Joe Burrow while dropping the rest of the guys into coverage, it'll provide huge dividends for this defense. But you gotta put pressure on this guy. If you don't have any pressure on him, he will pick you apart with one of the most explosive skill positions in the National Football League. It's gonna be hard to slow this guy down. It's gonna be a tough matchup for the Dallas Cowboys, but I believe they have the firepower on that defensive line to do just that.
Yeah, when you talk about him escaping the pocket, he's not just escaping and throwing the ball. He's throwing dimes to his receivers.
Yes.
He's got some guys on the outside like the Jamar Chase, a T. Higgins, a tight end, and Mike G. Jamar Chase, though, what kind of a challenge does he bring to this defense?
He presents the biggest challenge that this league has right now, and that's right now he's playing as the best receiver in the NFL. There's not a route that he can't run. There's no limitations to him. If you want to try to play press on him, he'll run right by you. His release off the line of scrimmage is nasty. His routes are nasty. His catching, his range of motion in terms of catching, his catch radius is absolutely insane. And he's a competitor. And that's the one attribute that you can't put on a Madden rating. He's one heck of a competitor, and he's a problem. And then when you put the other guys with him, it almost makes it impossible. And you've been seeing that in the stat line.
Yeah, without a doubt. When you talk about Chase, I mean, that's a scrappy individual. And to me, what most impressive about this guy is his ability, once he has the football in his hands. I mean, his yards after catch is unbelievable. The way he's able to break tackles, make guys miss, and go the distance. And like you just said, when you got the other guys next to him, T. Higgins, who's possibly one of the best number 2 wide receivers in the National Football League, it makes it hard for a defense to just focus on one guy and shut one guy down. Because if you put too much on the Jamar Chase, that's when T. Higgins comes alive. And we all know if he has his one-on-one opportunities out there, he can beat you down as well. So to me, this offense presents a lot of problems for the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, this Bengals offense is no doubt about the production they've been able to put together. It's just their defense that has struggled. They're giving up 28.3 points per game. Nate, I've got to ask you, where does it start for this Cowboys offense in terms of finding that production offensively?
Smash them. Run the ball. We got to see a lot from our running game. We got to make it happen. They're giving up 30 minutes of time of possession. We got to take advantage of that. They have one guy that's a superstar, and that is Trey Hendrickson, as I'm pronouncing it right. This guy has 11.5 sacks. He's second in pressures in the league. That is where it begins and ends with them. Control him, and you control their defense.
Here's a fun stat about Trey Hendrickson. When he's on the field, they're getting pressured 34% of the time. When he's off the field, they're only getting pressured 22% of the time. So clearly a big difference there with Trey Hendrickson. All right, up next, we have Stephen Jones going one-on-one with our very own Mickey Spagnola.
This segment was brought to you by your North Texas Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas. This segment is brought to you by the NFL Fan of the Year, presented by Captain Morgan.
The Dallas Cowboys are riding a 2-game win streak heading into Week 14, and there's no one happier than the Jones family, specifically Executive Vice President Stephen Jones. He caught up with one of our very own, Mickey Spagnola, to talk about where he feels like this team is right now and moving forward.
It feels like, we're coming together right now, and we've got a tough Bengal team coming in. They've had some bad luck themselves in terms of close games and some fourth quarter setbacks, but we'll have to play at a high level. I mean, we're playing one of the best quarterback receiver duos and Burrow and Chase. We're going to need to move the ball. It's going to be a tough matchup against the Bengals.
Yeah, it certainly looks like you shouldn't pay attention to Cincinnati's 4-8 record. The way they're able to move the ball, it's almost like you better score some points, because even though they've lost some games, they're scoring points just in either way.
Yeah, they've lost some heartbreakers. I enjoy watching them play and have seen a lot of their games, and they've had some unfortunate field goals that hadn't gone their way in terms of some losses that they've had, but their problem's not moving the football. And like I said, Joe Burrow is one of the best in the business. He's a winner. He's taken the Bengals to a Super Bowl. He obviously won a national championship. So, like I said, it'll be a challenge, but I think we're up for it. I think Coach Zimmer will do a good job mixing up the defenses there, and hopefully giving them some real challenges on their side of the ball.
Now, you had some huge TV ratings for the Thanksgiving Day game, and now you got a Monday night game. You probably figure that's going to carry over to Monday night.
Well, once you get that momentum going, we can get those Cowboy fans turning on that TV again, and certainly it'll be great to have Troy and Joe Buck calling the game for us, and hopefully our fans will all tune in, because I do think this is a team that's only getting better down the home stretch, and I fully expect us to play really, really, really good football and good complementary football, and give us an opportunity to go win this game.
Last question here. Rico Dowdle. Everybody's saying, well, what's the difference? What's going on? Well, it helps when you get carries, touches, right? Opportunities, and you're not playing from 20 points behind.
Yeah, I think both are spot on, Mickey. I think certainly us being competitive and not getting behind to where you feel like you're having to throw the ball all the time, certainly getting confidence in our defense. There's certainly, as we've gotten healthier, the defense has executed and played much better. And then just giving Rico his touches, we really felt confident that he could do that. Now that he's actually getting the touches, he gets over 100 yards last week, a big deal. And we've got to everybody preaches it, everybody wants to do it. The two key things to playing winning football is run the football and stop the run. And I think we're doing both much better than we did the first half of the season.
Okay, Stephen, thanks a lot. Looking forward to Monday night.
Sounds great.
The Dallas Cowboys are now 5-7, hoping to continue on the trajectory that they're on the field, but also off the field. Up next on Special Edition, we head out to get an inside look on the Dallas Cowboys in the community.
Brought to you by the NFL Fan of the Year, presented by Captain Morgan.
When you have a platform, it's only right to use it, and that's something the Dallas Cowboys organization has prided itself on. From serving meals before Thanksgiving Day to actually being a part of one of the biggest community service campaigns through the Salvation Army on Thanksgiving Day. It's put a smile on so many thousands, hundreds of thousands of men and women during the Thanksgiving holiday. But now during the Christmas holiday, it was time for the Cowboys to put a smile on children's faces.
Jingle bell, jingle bell rock.
From Fort Worth. Go for it. Down the Dallas North Tollway to the city. Charlotte Jones, the Dallas Cowboys, and DCC made the trip to 4 locations to make sure young kids feel special during this holiday season.
This is such a special time of year for us to have the opportunity to step off the field and into something that is far more important and brings an incredible perspective to our players and to us. And to see the smiles on the children's faces and their parents, it's really special to be able to have the ability to do that.
For 35 years, this has been a Cowboys tradition, bringing holiday cheer to kids who may have lost their holiday spirit. But sometimes, all it takes is a Dallas Cowboy to help bring it back.
So you listen to Tyler's new album?
It's all right. There's like 2 good songs.
It makes me feel awesome, you know, it grounds me, especially to come see the kids in this situation. I got kids of my own, so put life in perspective and just understanding that I'm blessed and yeah, I got a great platform to be able to get back.
You know, they obviously watch us on TV, but to be able to meet us and you know, put a face to the helmet that you're seeing on TV, and again, to spread the Christmas cheer and let them know that we're thinking about them and praying for them.
Much like Santa Claus, the Cowboys' name carries weight, so bringing their stockings full of goodies to the kids means the world. But they're not just giving out gifts, they're getting one in return.
For one, it's just always an honor, and it reminds us of humility and our gratitude, how thankful we should be for this opportunity to be able to come here with these children, their parents, create positivity, give a positive, you know, influence. You know, I just think that all that's important for the mind, and it's just good, really good for the heart too.
I think looking at our players first, let's start there, because you just see in them, you know, for a minute they realize the power of the platform that they stand on. You know, I think during the holidays especially, we all have a lot to be grateful for, and you come in here and you're reminded of that.
Cook Children's in Fort Worth, Scottish Rite, Children's Health, and Children's Hospital in Dallas. The Cowboys making sure their impact stretches across the DFW. But if you ask Charlotte Jones if they'd like to reach more, she'd say,
you know, I wish there were more of us, and because there are a lot of families in need and a lot of families hurting right now, and a lot of kids that need some smiles and to need to be reminded during this holiday season that there are others that are thinking about them. And if we have just the ability to bring one little glimmer of hope or smile to someone, especially right now, then it's all worth it.
For the full article, you can head to DallasCowboys.com. Our very own Tommy Yarish wrote that article. All right, we've got to switch gears and wrap things up here on Special Edition. Up next, what is it going to take for the Dallas Cowboys to get a win in Week 14? That's up next. Stick with us.
Closed captioning is brought to you by the Texas Lottery. Cowboys scratch tickets from the Texas Lottery are here. Play today. And to watch more Dallas Cowboys content on your connected TV, download the Cowboys Now app on Amazon Fire, Roku, and Apple TV. Special Edition, presented by AT&T, was brought to you by your North Texas Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. And by AT&T, official sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys.
I can say with number 11 on the field, it's going to open up for a lot of people. You turn on the tape, the majority of the time he got 2 or 3 people holding on to him. So you got 2 or 3 people holding on to him, that's just going to open up one-on-ones for me. And you one-on-one block me, I'm looking at that as something that I should win every time. So it's going to open up our defense a whole lot when they start respecting 13 as well. But I feel like Micah, you know, he'll probably say the same. You know, it's going to be one of these games where, like I say, they're going to have to put some respect on 13, and they're just not going to be able to triple team 11 the whole game.
Man, I like what he said there. Put some respect on 13. DeMarvion Overshown making a household name for himself. He's certainly going to be needed against the Cincinnati Bengals on a Monday night. All right, we've got keys to the game. Barry, I'll start with you. What do the Cowboys have to do in order to have success?
They got to win the turnover battle. You know, as good as Joe Burrow has been, there has been opportunities where you can take the football away from the Cincinnati team. Defensively, they got to do just that.
Yeah, stats show that you got to score 4 touchdowns in order to compete with these guys. So the Dallas Cowboys, not only do you have to take the ball away, you got to score 4 touchdowns. I don't care how it comes, just make sure you get it.
Take the ball away, 4 touchdowns, and 35 minutes time of possession. And we done won this game, baby. Yes, sir.
Hopefully the Cowboys get their 3rd straight win. Complimentary football, that's what Mike McCarthy's loved to preach about all season long. It's starting to click Hopefully it clicks on Monday night. All right, grab your popcorn. This is two teams with a lot on the line. The pressure is on. Can the Cowboys live up to that pressure and get the win?